Hi, everybody. It's me, Owen. Can you hear me? The song's called Canon in D. All right, let me check the audio, see if we're good to go. This stream's going to be about music and order. Hi. So I think that of all the songs ever written, well, Bach, everything has order, but Pachelbel's Canon in D. The reason that I think it's survived so many centuries and it's related to weddings. You know, every woman loves that song. Just every woman loves that song. It's like their wedding song. It's absolutely ordered to the point where it's a scale, right? So it goes. It's just a D scale, right? And the math is perfectly ordered and symmetrical. Just like every woman wants her marriage to be. So just like the union between a man and a woman, because people kept asking me, what is logos? Logos. You know, because I did that episode the other day about Hollywood took your future, and I talked about logos. Logos is, the word of God or order, the order of the universe, logic. It's just that which is true. You know, it's such a profound word. It's something you should just really look into. It's one of those words that doesn't have any synonyms. You know, every synonym is slightly lacking. So, and it's very, 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 very important because I was on another E. Michael Jones bender. The guy's just such a genius. And this is a testament to my philosophy that I listen and respect people who have character and honesty, and I believe that they believe what they're saying, and everything else is noise. Because I've ripped apart the Catholic Church. I'm not a fan of the Catholic Church at all. I think it's corrupt to the point of, just disaster. But he's Catholic, and I think he's one of my current go-tos for perspective, wisdom, you know? That's why when someone is like, oh, this guy's a Nazi, or this guy's a Zionist show, or this guy, it's like, what is their character? Because everything else is noise. And so I've been listening to this guy, and man, is he intelligent. And he's a musician, too. And so he was talking about Schoenberg. He worked with Grateful Dead. All fact, by the way. And to get people off their order is to remove them a little bit from logos. And there's so much of God's order in music. You know, that's why Bach is so incredible. And that's why when you listen to a lot of more modern, ugly, atheist type music, you can feel the ugliness in it. And so Canon in D is a perfect metaphor for the order of marriage, because every woman and every man, what they want is one that works with harmony, you know? And so the bass never changes. The rhythm, the bass, you know, that consistency, that love, it just goes. And it's the same over and over again. And then the top comes in. Harmony, everything's a harmony. Imagine if listen to this. This is non-harmony. Ready? You see what I'm saying? So harmony there is a right answer. There's no such thing as postmodern music. I'll give you examples. I'm going to show you Miles Davis between Kind of Blue and Bitches Brew. I'll show you how it just absolutely went out of control. So this is the order. Ready? And then there's a change. See, just like every good marriage, there's a base, there's a consistency, there's a harmony. But there's also room to improv. That's when you have, within that world of harmony, of order, of logos, you can expand and learn and change. That's when, so it starts with, this is the first year of marriage, right? And then you learn more things about each other, right? It's still the same bass, same order. Order doesn't change. Then you can go back to simple again. And then change it. So the left hand never changes, but the right, within the rules of the logos, it can do anything, but it has to stay within the harmony. So many songs are the same song because it is the song of harmony. Feel that? It's logos. That's order. That's the order that you can't break. So when people say, that the church or God or the Bible or Christians, insist on a certain morality and that people have a right to break that, they didn't come up with it. Morality is a lot like music. It's like you don't get to change the keys. That's the keys. So if you go, and so what happens is when you don't respect what is, you die. What is it? The result of sin is death, and we're seeing it. Like I'll show you because so we have jazz. All right, so jazz was a revolution off the order. It changed all the time, it changed everything, and it was poking at the order of the universe. So I'll show you, and there is some beauty in the gray areas, like just past order, like that little tiny area of jazz. Like jazz with some order has beauty to it. Like I'll show you Kind of Blue by Miles Davis. This is my favorite album. This is just a little piece of it. Ready? This is called, I think, Flamingo Sketches. Just listen to this. Okay, so you get the idea. Check out Miles Davis Kind of Blue. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But the problem with going against logos, however you want to pronounce it, is it never stops. You're fractal. You're out of control. You then start changing until everything is upside down. And we're currently seeing the upside down world of the rejection of the logos. That's the world we're in right now. Trans. I'll show you some examples in a second. I got some news stories for you. But this is what happened to Miles Davis. So you reject form, and there's people that encourage you to do this because they're trying to overthrow society. They reject God, they reject Christ, they reject that which is the harmony of the universe, form, beauty. And it causes degeneracy because, as Thomas Aquinas said, if those who can't see beauty in high things will see beauty in low things, or something like that. Where if you don't have beautiful architecture and you don't aspire to be a great pianist or, building something great, like just the beauty of carpentry or just anything, you will see the beauty in that which is the most raw, like a woman's body, because a woman's body is constructed in a beautiful way, but it will take you to a life of degeneracy because people need beauty in their lives. They need form. They need logos. They need, just that. What we consider beautiful is symmetry and harmony, and it's in everything. And so the modern art push, whether it's in literature or architecture or anything, it's to create a world where there's no beauty anywhere. Nobody's aspiring. No one's trying to make something great. So what do people do? They go down. And that's by design. It's a way to destroy people. And so that's why when people say, like, what do we do? I do these streams every day. And they say, what do we do? And I say, create. Make something beautiful. It allows the human soul to rise. And it can be in the simplest way. That's why when people send me bear art, I post it and people are like, wow, I can't believe someone just made that. Like, yep, that's how you beat it. It's that simple. Grow food, have a child, aspire, find a new skill. Like, okay, for example, my chicken coop. I'll show you this and then we'll get back into music. So it started, and I'm not good at this stuff. This is brand new for me. I've been working on my ability to see form in wood and construction and stuff like that recently. But it's great. It helps me understand the form of my own home, and it helps me feel like I'm building something in a world that feels like it's falling down. And it's really important. So it started, so we're just building a floor. And by the way, the best concern trolling there is, it's not even trolling, is when people that know stuff about carpentry write to me. I love that stuff. When people are like, wrong hammer, you got to add this joint, blah, blah, blah. That's called helpful. So keep it up. I love when people do that. I like when people are hypercritical about that which I'm making because they're pointers. They help me. I don't like it when people are hypercritical about my character or my thoughts that they can't possibly know and attempt to passive-aggressively attack me because they can't attack my ideas. Those people will be banned for life. Okay, so it started with those. I understood, trying to make everything level. It's very hard on a slope. That wasn't done yet, by the way, so it's not lined up in that picture. But it's interesting. And when things go wrong and you have to adapt and figure something else out, and then figuring out how to make a floor, and then, there's a picture of my boy on the thing, and so today I did that. That's not easy to do. And that's with the help of the Amish. The Amish sent those beams already, we connected those. My wife actually put that square thing on there. And I was up a ladder, just measuring and angling. And I make mistakes, but it's a chicken coop. It starts with a chicken coop. And if there's a problem, I was telling my wife, I was up a ladder and she was like telling me to move something over. And I'm like, I'm not dying for chickens. So this is a good project. This is a way over the top chicken coop. They don't deserve this. But it's a way for me to work on building stuff where my family doesn't have to live in it and it fall down. So it's been a blast. And so that's why art is important. But it's not art because art has been hijacked. All right, I'll show you. I'll make the point and then I won't just ramble. All right, so this is Bitches. This is Kind of Blue. There's still order in that. It's just a little bit chaotic to signify a certain mood that I don't think classical could quite show. You know, you can see raindrops on a windshield, you know, just that melancholy nature of city life, of isolation. It is in this, right? Okay, so by the end of Miles's career, this is called Bitches Brew. It's terrible. Just listen. Yeah, it's a complete rejection of form. So what it is when people base their foundation on a rejection of form, it never ends. You know, I was listening to E. Michael Jones talking about the Hindu religion, and I can't remember what animal is on the back of a turtle, but there's something on the back of a turtle, right? I'm literally tearing up in sadness. No, Overbear, this is good. Oh, you mean that noise? Yeah, I mean that was what happens when you do wizardry. But anyway, so the Hindu religion is there's some kind of animal on the back of a turtle. And then someone says, well, what's the turtle on? And they say, another turtle. And it's turtles, an elephant on the back of a turtle. And then the turtle is on another turtle, and it's turtles all the way down. That's what they say. So it's just fractal forever. And there's no base, and there's no meaning, and there's no logos. There's no form to that. And Vox Day wrote The Irrational Atheist, because atheism is actually the irrational argument. You know, if you say, how can something come from nothing? There's no answer to that. Something can't retroactively make itself. So atoms don't just form. That's illogical. That's literally illogical. That's without logos. There's no reason to that. So if something cannot come from nothing because nothing can't make something, that's literally impossible. So the basis of atheism is a rejection of form. Oh, it's horrible. What kind of music is that? That's the whole point, Kim. That was Miles Davis. That was Miles Davis. So Miles Davis started as this genius who could play a horn that would just come out of the darkness, you know, and there was real beauty to it. But even though it was starting to reject form, and then when you define yourself as the rejection of form, the rejection of logos, the rejection of the order of the universe, you end up that. You know, and that's why I remember going to a Fish concert when I was in high school, and they would have like 40-minute songs with no point. You know, you had all these awesome musicians, and there would be no start, no middle, no end. And every time they would reject another staple of music, the crowd would cheer and like, yeah, another thing that you broke. And I'll be honest, I hated it. I remember just being like, this is noise. And what it does, that frantic, just, it's do as thou wilt. It's you do what you want with no thought at all to the beauty or form of what you're doing. Because art is a thing. Like piano is a thing. So there's this guy named John Cage. And what he did is he would play nothing for 7 straight minutes. And the music, he said, was the noises the audience would make in uncomfort. And people would buy that because people are pathologically open-minded sometimes. And so the song would be nothing. And people would say, oh, wow, that's so profound. No, that was a destruction of beauty. E. Cummings did that with poetry. You know, he would make poems just disjointed and nonsense. And the whole thing was based on prestige, that if someone had prestige, if someone had clout, if someone had a big name in art, you were wrong for not understanding it. You know, they would put a dot of period blood on a square of white. And people like me would say, that's ridiculous. And they'd say, you don't understand. And so that is how you destroy form. Because there is form. There's a form to the universe. There's an order to the universe that is in everything. And so 2 + 2 = 5 is a rejection of that. And morality is the same thing. That when you live a life of sin, it isn't because the church is imposing this on you. And yeah, tons of hypocrites, I get it. I still don't like the Catholic Church. I think it's full of shit. But like, understand that the idea comes from reality. That these laws of morality are to keep you sane and alive and to keep our society going. Like, let's look at what is now happening. Let's look at what happened. Like, the example of Miles Davis can be shown with all kinds of stuff. All right, so feminism comes out. One of the main proponents of feminism is a Jewish woman named, what's her name? Gloria Steinem. She is the voice of feminism. She's Jewish, and she worked for the CIA. So when people say, why do you bring up it? Because it's nonstop. It's just relentless. The rejection of logos, the rejection of order. And so feminism took away the order of women. Women, they were told that abortion is freedom and that marriage is slavery and that equal pay, all that was a giant trick to make them leave the protection of their home, which they would be mothers, they would have control, they would have influence, and they put them in a little cubicle with an abortion that's eating them, up inside. And the long road of equality leads to the fusion jazz. Bitches brew, right? So now we have this. With women in combat roles, a federal court rules the male-only draft unconstitutional. And I know people will be like, the draft itself is unconstitutional. Listen, I'm making a very specific point here. What starts as a break from form, from morality, from order, it sounds appealing at first because you're very trickable. So at first when it's like, women should be able to, and everyone's like, yeah, why aren't we able? It's like, but what are you? What are you? And by the end, women are now cannon fodder like men. There's no mom. And women don't want this. Women are horrified. Women with daughters look at this story and say, oh God, what have we done? Forgive us. So now a woman has lost her entire value in a culture that says men and women are equal. Now get in those salt mines. Now get in the front lines. And by the way, that is fair. You want equality? You got it. And it's hell. Because equality is not equality. Equality is the breaking and the absence of order. Men and women are different. And to deny that is to deny God himself. And what happens when you do that? You die. And that's no joke, guys. Look at this. Transgender sprinters finished first, second at Connecticut Girls Indoor. This has been opened from a rejection of logos. We are now entering hell. I mean, I'm not, because I haven't rejected logos. I've held on to it desperately this whole time and faced humiliations and blah, blah, blah. Of course, but it's worth everything. Look at this. Gay and trans sex education be taught to 5-year-olds in UK, and opting out is illegal. Welcome to tolerance. The UK Conservative government is set to announce plans for the introduction of lessons on homosexuality and transgenderism for primary school students, despite an official petition against the move signed by over 100,000. The Sunday Times. All right, so that's what happens when you reject morality, because you can't negotiate with order. Like if I'm playing canon in D, and I just go, you can't do that. There is an order. And art and entrepreneurship and creativity, I've learned what that really is. It's not a rejection of order. It's not a rejection of the word. It is trying to find more of it. It's trying to eliminate that which is not the order of the universe, that which is not harmony. It's an exploration into the world we can't possibly fully understand, and to learn more about what is possible with this order we've been given. And to reject it is to reject life itself, and you will pay dearly. We all will for these mistakes. And it's like, look at this, parenting magazines. What don't you see? There's no dads. The only dads are two homosexuals on the top playing make-believe. That's not the order. There's just women and children. Women and children. It doesn't say motherhood. It says parents. And the only male is a homosexual, because sodomy is a rejection of the order of the universe. Sodomy takes that which makes life and makes it sterile. And without a father, a child doesn't connect as well to logos. There's no role model. There's no form, because the father, I was learning this from Jesse Lee Peterson, the father is the mouthpiece. It's the quasi form of God in the home. And then the father has to look to God to help guide him. And that's very important. And to take away that, and it's by design to make a family with no fathers, is how you get school shooters and zombies and weirdos and slaves. And it's just, it's every single school shooter did not have a biological father in the home. Every single one. Every single one. So the order matters. And creativity is not bad. Being open-minded is not bad, but it's open to what? Open to more order? From stress testing, because that's the difference between me and a lot of other comedians. A lot of other comedians, what they're doing is they're finding that which is social order, finding that which is harmony, and trying to overthrow it. What I do is I find that which is order and I test it. I find that which is taboo, the sacred cow, the whatever, and I flip it and I test it and I exaggerate it and I use irony, and then I see where the order really is. I break it down to its most primitive form, and that is where the social order is, and I embrace that. I don't try to destroy that. You know, as we saw right there with Miles Davis, he started by rejecting form in music, and at first it was interesting, and then it became madness. No one talks about Bitches Brew. No one talks about fusion jazz, because once you open that, it doesn't go. It's turtles all the way down. You know, an elephant on the back of a turtle. And what's the turtle on the back of? Another turtle, another turtle, another turtle. It's fractal. It never ends. That's why this rejection of logos is making our society insane. That now we have, I mean, when you see things like this, you know, transgender sprinter finished first, second at girls indoor. You realize that is men beating women at everything now. And if you told that to yourself 5 years ago, you wouldn't have believed it. So why does this happen? Because it's turtles all the way down. If you are not based on something foundational that does not change and is real, this will continue to happen exponentially until up is down is up. And you saw it, every single society that has rejected logos, this has happened to. And it goes to the point where no one can say a word of truth without death. And they die anyway. So the only way out of this, it's not depressing. The way out of this is speaking truth, finding the order, not rejecting logos. Do it in your daily life. You know, I was listening to E. Michael Jones, and someone said, how do we save the church? How do we fix the church? And he says, fix yourself. E. Michael Jones is what I always wanted Jordan Peterson originally to be. The hyper-intelligent academic who rejected academia. He got fired from a Catholic college because he was pro-life. And that dude says what he thinks. He gets it. You know, we disagree on things, but it doesn't matter because I know he says what he believes. And it's phenomenal to see someone with that wealth of knowledge from history and from everything reject the rejection of order. And so I wanted to talk about music today. So that's why, I'm picking this topic. So, order. And the math in music, like the 12-bar blues. It's the number 12 it repeats over and over and over again in everything. That's why yesterday I was talking about how there's God is in math. God is math. That which is true is God. And people are like, well, that's weird. No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just what it is. And so the Bible is almost like it's almost like word math, where it's so true that if you don't do it, you die. That's as tested as anything can be. So when people say, yeah, I like part of the Bible, I don't like this part, I like thou shalt not steal, but I'm pretty into pounding my neighbor. It's kind of like saying, I'm really into these notes, but I just want to go. Like, that's not the song. And there is a psychological effect that when you remove beauty and order and higher art from a population, they seek beauty in lower places. And that's what causes degeneracy. Because the human spirit is dying to see form. It's dying to see God. And God is in a woman's hip. It's in sex. It's just there's no harmony in the stranger sex. It's like, stop watching porn. Stop. Just stop. It's almost like the temptation. And then just don't, it's all these women sold out their own gender to abort a baby or some shit. Now they have to they're getting drafted to go to war. Look at this shit. I showed this earlier, but now we have over 4,000 people. So, look at this. With women in combat roles, the federal court rules the male-only draft unconstitutional, right? It's like what started with just women wanting free shit and just wanting to they want to be women and men. Now they are cannon fodder. So it's all about temptation. It's like, don't take what you don't deserve. It's because it never ends. You become Miles Davis. It's just, I quit porn for long enough that it's real easy once you get the hang of it. I quit porn for long enough that it just makes me feel bad when I look at it anymore. Once you get the hang of it, it's like there's no desire to. Like, I chewed tobacco for 15 years, more, 18 years. Quitting used to seem impossible. And then once I got past that hump, the smell of chewing tobacco right now would make me vomit. And I used to chew every day since I was in high school. It's so similar to porn. It's like, once you get past that hump, once you get past that, the habit of it, where you just can't sleep. I'm going to watch some porn and whack it. Once you get past that bullshit, it's not only is it easy, you're like, I can't believe I just sat around watching that shit. And your life gets better. You see more in the world. It really does limit your view of the world. There's a military purpose of porn. Someone emailed me that they're fascinated by the military implications of pornography, and I should do a whole stream about that. So maybe if E. Michael Jones is down to talk about it, that can be one of the topics, because he's talked about that a bunch, where smut in different forms throughout different eras was shipped into countries or regions that people wanted to subvert. It's for a reason. If you're watching porn, you're watching a broken and abused daughter. Gross. Yeah, that helped me break this cycle as well. Because just think about why they're doing it. Think about because it's so addicting. It's so addicting. I'm not coming at this from this judgmental place. I used to have like 8 windows open, just being like, just whacking myself silly. Like, I'm not coming at this from a judgmental place. And I know that a lot of people are not going to be capable of quitting for whatever reason. But if you can, it's so clarifying. And it gives you energy. It's just, you see the world better. You have more respect for yourself. It just isn't a good thing, you know?